When they went out there, even though we wanted to see it, there was a price to pay. And and it's funny because the internet got jokes now for it. They talking about how that Night King got that gold medal. Oh, people, welcome to Double Toast's Game of Thrones discussion. And it's not going to be a bunch of people like it was last week. You're going to be stuck, unfortunately, with just myself and Mr. Oz Green on the Googles. And I got to let people know that, let me just say this right now before we get too far into it.
Yes.
I am a casual viewer of Game of Thrones. I want y'all to know right now. I don't want anybody complaining in this discussion about how I don't have certain details right because I don't know the mythology about it, because I didn't read the books. No, I did not read the books. I don't know all the history of Westeros and the land and the mythology of Game of Thrones. I am a casual viewer. I try to know as much as I can so I don't sound completely stupid. I'm a fan. I'm a big fan, but I'm not an expert by any means, and neither are you, Oz.
Ditto what he said.
And I'm also doing this because I'm taking this from another angle. I mean, you're going to have people already out there telling you. There's going to be tons of people out there already telling you the theories that are going on, like something like we did last week when we were talking about it. And, you know, I might have a couple. They're going to be telling you about all the details that are going on with Game of Thrones in this season and some things that are foretold and what we're leading up to. And before anybody gets mad about me having a critique about it, I want to let everybody know that I thought last night's episode was amazing. I had a great time watching this. It was so entertaining. I mean, that's the teaser that we got for it. And I have to say that it did not disappoint. One of the things that Game of Thrones has always done, and I thought they've always done an excellent job at, is being able to, and I'm talking to you, Oz, too, it's being able to just always one-up themselves and teasing the next episodes are where the story is leading to. Last night, I have to say that I got chills. I got chills from that final scene where we had the Night King that went up to the dragon by Syrian. And when and everybody saw it coming, everybody knew what was going to happen. We even called it last week. But when they killed Viserion, like Daenerys' other main dragon, and that blue eye popped open, and we found out that he's been whited, you know, they did, which pretty much means he's just a big ass zombie dragon. I was like, all right, even with that kind of being predictable and us calling it last week and some other people calling it, I'm sure, and saying that was going to be a thing and wondering what's going to happen now that he doesn't breathe fire anymore, but possibly cold ice. People thought, man, you know what, that's what I want to see here. That's entertainment right there.
It got to a point where you finally have something to root for, because before you couldn't root for anybody because whoever you rooted for died. But
you know what? When we have the Army of the Dead and the Night King and the White Walkers and the Whites, you have this is what I'm basing this discussion off of right here. It feels like now that they have to push this story along, and now that we have to get to a conclusion, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but it went from being some deep political storytelling to where it kind of feels Hollywood now.
Exactly, and that's where it is right now. Yeah, it's jarring. Like I said, it's a little jarring.
It feels like Hollywood, and what I want to say here is this is not a critique, as I said, that means to put this show down, but I want to go through some things, and having this episode that we just saw, especially telling you how this is Game of Thrones, but now we're seeing these becoming genre movies. This particular episode that we saw, it was a genre film of different types. It was an action horror movie. You know,
that's what it turned into. Yeah,
and I don't mean that in any kind of bad way, but because it's become more of a genre type of storytelling, at least the way it feels to me. I want to go ahead and just and say how this feels and how it feels differently from what Game of Thrones used to be. And Because I don't care what anybody says. You can call them the undead army or the dead army, the Night King, the White Walkers, whatever you want to call them. They are zombies. All right. That's what I mean. Come on, let's quit bullshitting and call them what they are. They are zombies. And I don't mean that in a bad way, because if you want to take it there, hey, this is one of the best zombie flicks I've seen.
Yeah, no, and again, don't take what I'm saying as it's being bad. Like I said, it's a little jarring, but I'm enjoying the ride that I've been on thus far.
Being that this is one of the best zombie flicks I've seen, it is. I got everything I wanted in something like that and more. I mean, Jesus, when a zombie bear, a flaming frozen zombie bear came out of nowhere, it just shows how well. And what I mean by looking at this and talking about how this is a zombie flick. It's entertainment, but it's been better directed than a lot of things that I see in the movies.
Right.
We had some great moments in here that I thought it's really what is making them going away from the books. If you're going to do this, then do this in the way that they've done it. Like, if you have to like make this more of like an action thing or a zombie thing or a horror thing, do it in this manner. Which is why I don't want to go in and criticize it too much. I will, but I want to criticize it too much because this Alan Taylor, I think, is the director's name, and came in and he was the one that directed this episode. And it gave me moments where it felt like true Spielberg moments. When we had the Hound chunking rocks at the Whites cross, and I like the way he's like, yeah, I'm gonna remember that shit. He's like, oh shit. But that was a Spielberg moment where that one white had that realization. I love, he's like, yeah, you done fucked up now.
Yeah. He got like no face, but his face said it all right there.
It's funny too, because the others are like, I'd be goddamn. You mean we could have walked this way the whole time? Like, man, I was following you. But that is a great Spielberg moment that we had there, because I love that whole thing of where he took that step, and it is such a buildup to where we see him walking across that ice, and the way it slowly builds up from one soldier moving, who had, by the way, the realization that he could walk the same time that we had the realization that he could walk across there. I was like, holy shit, man. This is why we love TV shows better than movies right now. And looking at this was such amazing direction here.
Yeah.
Having that, and the way the others slowly, like the ones that I love the way they did his ass too. They waited for that one white to walk forward and like to see if his ass gonna fall in, and when he didn't, they were all like, all right, okay, we cool, we can do this.
They didn't know what they was doing. Yeah,
they know what they were doing, but walking across there like that and giving us a moment where they're ready, where Barrick lights his sword, and and everybody's ready to have that confrontation. That is a true Spielberg moment. That is a moment that is true build up. And, that is a moment where it gives us this anticipation for a battle that's about to ensue. And I thought that this is amazing direction for this show.
It was awesome. But I feel though this scene or these type of instances wouldn't have happened if they didn't diverge from the book,
But exactly. If they didn't, we probably would have got a scene like that to this degree, but to the point where it was just as cinematic as it is like this. Like I said, man, that's a Spielberg moment right there. Classic Spielberg moment.
If we stuck to the books, they all would have died.
Yeah. But here's the thing that happens here with this. When you have a moment like that, it leads up to moments where we've been getting a lot of things in this series that have become, that's a Hollywood moment that works for this show. It doesn't really stand out. It doesn't affect the storytelling, but it leads up to a moment to where these guys, although they are surrounded, although it's a very well-directed scene and it's building up to a very tense moment, it's also building up towards something that I think is very Hollywood about this series right now. And that is the last minute saves. Like, they're outnumbered. Yeah. We know that these guys are not going to die, but something they've been doing through this whole series is not through the whole series, but they've been doing a lot of these, is the last minute saves.
Yeah,
and
again, they diverged from the book, and it became, like you said, it became Hollywood, and that's what happens in Hollywood. You have the fantastic battle scenes, you have the fantastic last minute saves that's been happening since they diverged from the book. So it's becoming more of a TV show now, as opposed to adhering to the reference material that it's from.
I would say it's either becoming more of a TV show, or it's becoming like your standard Hollywood movie where they got to wrap things up, and when things really get pressed against the wall and we don't have any more great writing to do, then all of a sudden the hand of God will come in and save everything. And
it gets cliche.
And it is cliche. Now with Game of Thrones, I will say that it is still done better than the average film, because a last minute save has consequences, and we saw that foreshadowed in this one episode right here when we had Daenerys, who was told by Tyrion, don't go. When they sent a raven over to her and they said that these guys are stranded and they surrounded by these zombies and you got to save them.
That turbo raven that came there in 2 seconds.
That teleporting raven. I want to talk about that a little bit. That teleporting raven that got to her, and she had to leave so that she could go and save them for what we know is going to be a last minute save, but she was told not to go. And we always know that in Game of Thrones, even with the best intentions, even with a last minute save that seems heroic, is if somebody tells you don't do it, somebody told you that for a reason, or they were telling you that for a reason, and chances are it's not going to end well. And I saw that with this scene right here, and I said, at least they're doing that. While we know they're going to do something cliche right here, we're being told that there's going to be a price to pay.
You told me to do nothing before, and I listened to you. I'm not doing nothing again.
What's that?
That was very Empire Strikes Back. Yoda telling Luke Skywalker not to leave Dagobah.
Yeah, but in Games of Thrones, when somebody says don't do something and you do it, that has a major consequence. And look, everybody was like, oh, fuck yeah. You go out there and do your thing. Don't wait on nobody. Go out there and because everybody wanted to see that dragon in action. And when they went out there, even though we wanted to see it, there was a price to pay. And it's funny because the internet got jokes now for it. They talking about how that Night King got that gold medal for the javelin throw, the Winter Games of Westeros 2017. Because while we got and it's a thrilling scene.
Yeah,
when it happens. I mean, everybody's cheering it on.
Dragons tearing shit up.
And people are cheering. Yeah, fucking. You forget that something bad. That's the great thing about Game of Thrones. You forget that something bad is about to happen right around the corner. You just see it. You're in the moment. You're like, fuck yeah, tear that shit up. This is what everybody's been waiting on, these dragons to come in. Because the people have been saying this whole time, they've been talking about, why we even got fucking dragons if we're not going to do anything with them? When are we going to do something? But the price to pay for that, of course, and it's a very touching scene.
Yep.
The price that we saw was Viserion killed. Oh, let me get to that. Let me get to that javelin thrower right there. Because it is amazing, man. And everybody couldn't stop talking about that javelin throw.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I love that. Got his form and everything. You see the way he got his hand? He's like, yeah, I got this shit. Even the guys who had no emotions before.
Yep.
All these guys who were these Tormund, the Wildling, the Beric, Jordan, all these hard warriors, they're milking this from you because everybody just sees a moment that's tearing them apart. It's a loss of hope. It's a woman who's lost pretty much her child.
That's morale 2 points down right there.
Oh yeah,
morale is lowered because of that.
Yeah, and it's an effective moment. The funny thing that I like with this too is like that Night King. He got a little ahead of himself. Everybody, got that gold medal for getting that other dragon down. I like when he missed the other one though. Yeah. When he missed Drogon.
Yeah, he was like, shit, let me come here.
Because he's so cool, but he was like, fuck! Who's fucking talking? Shut up!
Exactly.
bunch of whites holding up zeros and shit.